Of Findlay Stars in Findlay, and this is going to be an exciting year. A lot has happened over the last 6 months for us. Next year we are going to have probably one of the most amazing training pieces for you, because we were the recipients of the Marathon Classic this year. We were one of the picked nonprofits, and the money that we are going to make from that, we're going to create a training video so that will last the test of time. And we're going to be utilizing the services of Elizabeth O'Donnell, who is the founder of the program, who happened to be here yesterday with us for a couple hours. She came in from Buffalo. So gathering her expertise of doing this for 30 plus years, I think is going to be a step in the right direction for all of us. I want to go ahead and start with going through just a little overview of equipment. And first off, I want to make sure that everybody did sign in out there and got your registration. The water bottles are for you, the lanyards if you're interested, and the magnets that have the calendar on it. You seem to like that the last couple years we've done it, so we repeated that. There is a little informational sheet too that we provided out there on the table, so make sure you get a hold of that. Definitely, I could probably speak on behalf of myself and all the families, thanking you so much for giving of your time for this program. This program wouldn't exist if it wasn't for the volunteer base. And we can't support the numbers of the stars that we put on the ice, again, if it's not for the volunteers. So I thank you. Our families thank you. And you guys can just come in. There's lots of seats up here. Don't play like it's church, okay?
Same thing.
Yay. But for those of you, and I see some familiar faces, but I know some of you new, but realizing that, you know, that it is a therapeutic skating program, and we do have adaptive equipment, which I'm going to be talking about here in a minute. And just to give you a little brief history about the program here in Findlay, Ohio, there are other chapters of Gliding Stars across the nation: Orlando, New York, Erie, Pennsylvania.
Orlando.
Home of Mickey. But we were founded in 2000, and it was just by a recreational therapist professor, Dr. Jean Folkerith, who realized that there was not utilized ice time at the University of Findlay. And so she researched this program. We did an exhibition skate, and from there a group of us, parents, people from the university, people from the community, got together and raised funds and actually had our first time on the ice in January of 2002. And during that expansive time, we had to raise $35,000 to get this program started with the equipment. And since then, we did our last ice show in March, and that was our 13th ice show, so we are going into our 14th season. And I just love this picture. I had a professional photographer at last year's ice show who donated over 1,600 pictures of last year's ice show, which is phenomenal, but we did have a full house here. One of the things I really think about Gliding Stars and what we're able to achieve is, obviously there are health benefits for getting special needs population on the ice, but also too the fact that they gain new skills. Maybe it's skating skills, yes, but over the years I have seen children increase their speech, maybe their motor planning, maybe even being able to ride a bike, you know, something they hadn't done because of using the muscle groups on the ice. Definitely self-esteem and social skills. I see, we've seen it personally in our lives. And yesterday when we were doing the skate fitting, we had over 40 stars come into this room for skate fitting. And the returning ones, you could just tell, they were beaming. They just like, I can't wait to get on the ice. I can't wait to get with my volunteers. So that speaks loads of that social relationship between that special needs star and yourself. And two, the fact that we are teaching them a skill that they could probably share with their family and friends. And I love this picture when we talk about confidence. I just, check out Isaac's face there, you know? Does that not bode confidence? And also, too, I gotta point out, his siblings are volunteering in here. So a lot of times, I know there's many siblings that volunteer, and I think that's a very special dynamic within this program. I want to talk about the walkers real quickly. I'm not going to get like a real technical, but we do have, this is our basic walker, and it does come in 3 sizes. And, how you go?
Want me to get on my knees?
Yeah, it's about me. Yeah. But kind of the idea on this walker is the
How's that?
That's
the
good.
right height.
But we'll pretend like her knees are where the skates are. But the positioning where Kim has for the walker is what's correct. You know, the skater should be in there. If they have a harness, then that one handle back there is for you just to hold and to guide them. Not to hold them up, but to guide them. And making sure that they take little steps. Some of our stars in this type of walker, we might have another volunteer alongside as motivational, maybe skating backwards in the front, you know, keeping that contact, keeping that head up and looking. So that's the basic walker. Thank you, Kim. We also have this bar seat walker, and you'll see this one on the ice with our individuals who have, for example, like cerebral palsy, that can skate a little bit, but then need to sit and rest, and that's the purpose of this back bar here, is for them to rest. And then height-wise, we adjust that so that they have the ability to sit down, get up, and start again on that type of walker. We also have modifications that we have made to that walker too. If we have someone who can't stand, we can accommodate them with a specialized seat that we had designed here in Findlay. And then there's the sling seat walker, and this particular walker is really designed for the smaller individuals that can't bear weight for long periods of time, so that we have them in there. And I think if you saw last year's ice show, we had quite a few of those out there. And I did get ahead of myself. There's the actual seat walker, so even somebody that's neurologically impaired in a wheelchair can get on the ice and enjoy all those things that I had mentioned, that self-esteem, that socialization, gaining that confidence on the ice. And then we have harnesses. We've got 2 types of harnesses.
Good luck with that.
And we have the smallest harness that we have, the extra small, but basically just hold it up, Kim.
I will.
Okay.
I can't put it on.
And you can see, there's a picture, I have an Isaac thing running through this, but you can see how Isaac has that on. There's a crotch piece, and then you can crisscross that in the back. There is a handle in the back, and also it is Velcroed, and then there is a latch. So both things have to be in place. So we're mentioning this to you because it's always good to have the volunteer do an eyeball check of the equipment on the star, and I'll get to skates here on your eyeball check for that. We have 3 types of skates. This one here is the pronated skate. This one is made for somebody who has more of a flat foot. A lot of individuals with Down syndrome, this skate really works for them. It's been, all of our equipment was designed with Elizabeth O'Donnell and through the Rydell company. So this particular skate has about 10 modifications made on it, but it really does the work of an actual flat orthotic. And this particular skate here, like when I mentioned individuals with cerebral palsy, sometimes you'll see some of our stars and they'll have leg braces on them. This will go right over a leg brace. This particular skate has about 25 modifications made from a typical standard skate. And one of the neatest ones, I think, is that when they get their the AFO in the skate, that heel is lower, so they are stretching their Achilles while they don't even know it. You know, it's a fascinating piece of equipment. And then, of course, the standard skate, we have those too. So you can really see a visual difference, you know, between the skates there. Volunteer requirements. Obviously, again, thank you for being at this training, but what we really look at from your perspective is to be an encourager, you know, and work with the different learning styles, which I think Kim's going to talk a little bit more about, you know, being very visual, kinetic, that moving, and having basic skills. And I know we get asked this question a lot, you know, hey, I'm not an advanced skater, that's okay. We'll work with your skating skills and pair you up with the proper star. And I just have some pictures in here which are great. I think I should have titled this the La Fontaine. But just showing you, you know, again, this is really great. This is when, now Matthew, you know, if you remember Elvis last year, that was Elvis. But, you know, look at that progression, you know, and here is when he was almost getting off the walker. And we do use equipment. Obviously, anytime you can make learning fun on the ice and play with recreation, it's great. So we have parachutes, we have balls and cones. The ball's fascinating. I think Elizabeth talked about that yesterday when she met with our teachers. You know, the kicking of the ball helps so much with that balance from one foot to the other, you know, and that's the purpose of it. And again, this is just showing, you know, again, that relationship. This is from a few years back, but this particular volunteer wrote a story about the star she skated with and was recognized in Washington, D.C. And I would say, as I said at the beginning, and I know I probably have redundant here, but I do think the best benefits for our stars is that socialization piece and what they gain in self-esteem. And if you think about it, a lot of the individuals that you're going to be working with that are our stars, that socialization piece doesn't happen very naturally within the school systems, unfortunately. It's just the way it is. And so I think that's the value of our program here with recreation, that we can make that happen. And again, you know, and I will share, you know, why I've been with the program since the beginning, and yeah, it's because of Taryn, and it's because of what it created for her, and these are her friends, and this little girl skated with her as her volunteer for 6 years, and is now in graduate school at Kent State, and still stays in contact with Taryn. That means the world to us and to Taryn. And finally, for communication, and you might want to add this to your sheets, definitely if you're on Facebook, like us on Facebook. We're doing much better at posting pictures. You know, a lot of the pictures from skating, I'm looking at Bert because every time I post something, he likes it. I'm like, yes! But we do have a lot of communication that we do through Facebook. So it keeps you up to date. You can see pictures. You might see yourself, you know, send it. The other thing we're going to start this year, which I found out that I'm working with some high school students that, oh, I don't do Facebook, but I do Twitter. So for that communication piece, we are going to start. So follow us on Twitter, and it's at Lighting Stars. Important communication. Last year was the first year ever in our 14 years we had to cancel 2 skates due to weather. And if you're a reader of the Farmer's Almanac, it's the same thing again. So, and I will not, do a lot. I mean, it will be important things that I will share on Twitter. And then obviously the other contact info. Our website is not the best. It is being reworked and revamped, but you can go to the website and get information. And finally, I just want to show this.
I fall in love with this kid. The relationship that I have with him, I talk about to everybody. Like, everybody knows who Trevor is because of me. Like, I love talking about it. Like, I used to think volunteering was just the hours on paper. Like, you know, you get hours signed up.
Perfect.
Good, okay. Yesterday when we were working with the 40 stars that came in to get fitted, many parents stopped and talked to me, and my 17-year-old son who has Prader-Willi syndrome skates, and this will be his 10th year. And I did some thinking as I drove home by myself about what this program is. And I realized that I'm a helicopter parent. I'm a helicopter parent with both of my children, more so probably with my oldest than my youngest. And he went to work for the first time this summer, and the first day he got on the work van, I cried for an hour and 12 minutes because I didn't know where he was going and I didn't know who was taking care of him. So then yesterday we had some tears, both parents and children, and as I was driving home, one big word rang true, and this is a community. And if you're new, I welcome you to our community. We can't do it without you. I don't want to say if you're old, but if you're a veteran, you know what I mean when I talk about community, because we entrust our children to you. And you can get no better honor from me than that. I mean, I trust my children with you, and I love that you're here, and I honestly can't thank you enough. And watching the video from Chloe, The older I get, the more I cry. It's like, wow, I've seen that probably 50 times. What's going on? But anyway, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Cindy went through the whole purpose of the video. My role, other than Jared's mom, is I keep track of volunteer hours. I try to assist to the best of my ability to get everyone onto the ice as quickly as possible. And I keep your records, and I will email you volunteer things and whatnot, and you can do the same to me. My information is on your sheet. My cell phone number is probably the best way to let me know that you're absent, because I have to drive about 30-35 minutes to get here. It'd be great if you could let me know several hours ahead of time, but if it's a quick, I can't make it, my cell phone's probably the best way. Now, having said that, attendance is very, very critical to this program. Once you start next week and you meet your star and you see the relationships, because Justin's back there and Chloe's back there, and how they lock on to their stars, you'll see it's really, really important for you to be here as much as you possibly can be here. And it is a commitment. It's a long season. It's a 9-month season. We have our big show at the end. We understand life gets in the way. You're busy. But if you can be here and you can be committed to the program, we really, really appreciate it. If you know you have things coming up, if you just let us know, we try to plan ahead to make that transition for stars and parents, believe it or not, a little bit easier. 4 o'clock, that's a little bit different than last year. My recommendation to you, because we follow public skate, is 3:45, 3:50, be at the cube, because last year it became very congested. To find a seat to put your ice skates on, to be able to get in the line, and we're working a little bit on that to try to alleviate that. So if you can be here by 3:45, 10 till 4, we can get you ready and your star ready and get you on the ice right at 4 o'clock to get the full benefit of that hour. I will have a sign-in sheet on the counter out here where you would come in this main door. National requires that you sign in with the time you arrive and you sign out with the time that you leave, and that you initial it, and that you do that every week. That's kind of a mandate from them, and then I get to take it home and keep track of it. All of you signed a name badge. We're going to ask that you wear that. If you wear it, you avoid me saying, now tell me what your name is, even if I've already said that to you 25 times. And then leave it when you leave. There's a shower rod with a piece of fabric on it. If you just clip it to it, you know that it'll be here every time. That'll help the teachers learn who you are. It will help the parents learn who you are, and myself. When you get here and you meet your star, you will know whether they have equipment or whether or not it's just them by themselves. By equipment would be the harness or the walker. If they have no equipment, or if they only have a harness, we're asking that you take the star around this back hallway and get on middle ice, center ice. You'll see Sunday why we ask you that, because the walkers to go through those doors get pretty super congested. And kids without equipment typically have been here a while, and they just get out there and take off, and that really slows them down. So if we can split stars and volunteers to the middle doors and the other side entrance, that would be great. Okay, so here's how we're going to try to alleviate the public skate problem. When you come in at the counter, there's a side door right there. We're going to have the Gliding Stars line to get their ice skates at that side door. So if you stand right there at the counter, you'll see me, or you'll see an off-ice volunteer.
Lauren.
Or Lauren. Look at Zach's looking at me like, no. And we'll kind of elbow our ways through to get your skates while the public skates are being returned. Okay, I know last year it became a real problem where people weren't getting ice skates until 5 minutes after 4. Okay, this is the big one. We ask that you do not have your cell phone on ice at all. We ask that while you're on ice, your star is your main focus for 1 hour. I know that's tough for kids your age. I have a 14-year-old, and as I left, he's watching football and texting at exactly the same time. 1 hour every Sunday, if you could kind of put that stuff away and just focus on the star that you're here working with, we would appreciate that. I would like to see all of you when you meet your star and you get to know your star, and if your star is someone you've worked with before, just hearing Elizabeth from Nationals yesterday, set a goal for them. And the goal is going to be different for every child. For example, my son talks. He doesn't stop talking, and while he's talking, his feet aren't moving. So his goal with his volunteer is going to be less of this, more of this. And I'm going to work with his volunteer, obviously, but he's not going to be allowed to talk for 2 or 3 minutes, and I'm going to get him a little beeper and things, and he's not allowed to tell a story for 3 minutes. He has to skate the whole time, and then the reward, if he skates the whole time and doesn't talk, is he gets to tell him a story. Now, many of you are thinking, whoa. When you meet Jared, you'll get it. And that's why everybody was laughing, that, yeah, okay. Other stars might be that their legs are very tired. And, we saw this yesterday. If they're sitting on the bar the whole time, they're not skating, and they're not developing any kind of leg, hip strength. So an example of a goal for them is you go 10 steps and count them out loud, and then you can sit down and take a break. Goal might be if your star is clinging to your hand, that they skate 10 steps not holding your hand. So that's my goal to being the volunteer coordinator this year, is to have all of you set a goal for that star that you're working with, so they improve a little bit every week, and you can track that as you get to know them. I'm here every week. Cindy's here every week. We have fantastic teachers who've been with the program a long time. They're here every week. If you ever have a concern, by all means, please ask any of us. But one other thing that I would love as my personal goal this year is parents of kids, of the stars, are kind of intimidating. I know that I'm intimidating when it comes to my son because I know him better than everybody else. But please ask us. We love our kids, and we absolutely love that you're here. So if you have a concern, perhaps your star is on the autism spectrum and you're just not quite sure how to get through to them or how to get them to accomplish a task, ask the parent. Get to know them, get to know their names, get to know your star's interests. Many of you might work with kids that aren't as forthcoming as others, and it'll be through the parent or through siblings even that you find out what they enjoy, and that way you can speak with them. Even if they're not speaking to you, they can listen to you, and if you're speaking about what they're interested in, it'll be a breakthrough once they finally share something with you. Cindy already talked about the walkers. Some volunteers will have, some stars will have 2 volunteers, some 1. Behavior, that's the fun one. Our kids are kids first and foremost, so they will misbehave like kids. If there's a problem, your first line of defense or offense, whichever way you want to look at it, would be the teachers. And I know last year we had a couple where I would get a wave, and I would walk around. We want them to behave. We want them to do what's right. And you're not required to try to just suffer through behavior that's not acceptable. You ask the teachers, they will help you. I will help you. Cindy will help you. And of course the parent will help you. If you're using the cube skates, when you come out to take them off, please wipe the bottoms of them. And we'll have towels all throughout the lobby. Tuck the laces in. I know last year lots of people didn't do that, and then the poor people back there in the skate shed has to put their hands down in multiple pairs of sweaty skates. So if you've just experienced your own sweat, they would appreciate that. As I said, sign in, make sure you sign out, make sure you sign. Flexibility is really important with this program, and this is really hard for stars. It's hard for parents. It's hard for you because you get attached very, very quickly to your stars. I understand that. So like Chloe said, I fell in love with this little boy. And we ask that you be flexible in that if your star is absent, please come anyway. because we can use you, whether it's as an additional person to socialize with someone, or perhaps it's one of those skates where the University of Findlay is closed, and we're missing those people because they've traveled home. So try to come every week, even if you know your star's not going to be here. If we ask you to move, it's certainly not because we're picking on you or trying to separate the relationship you're developing. It's just that we're trying to make sure everybody's covered. I will introduce you to the teachers, and they'll talk briefly about anything, hi girls, about anything that we may have missed. But I do want to ask this, as you leave today, if you have any special requests, by all means stop and let us know, whether that is an individual you wish to work with, whether that's an individual you wish not to work with. I will tell you that it is acceptable in this program to be intimidated. I got a phone call today, and I took many phone calls today, which I was so excited. And a student was, or a student, I'm sorry, I'm a teacher. This person, sorry, I slip back and forth into those roles. And this person was very concerned that, I'm just not real sure if I can work once with someone who has very, very serious needs. But I want to come. I don't want anybody to be mad at me, but if that's a concern for you, it becomes a concern for us, and that's okay. It really is. So any requests at all that you have, please let us know, because we want this to be an amazing experience for you, so you'll come back next year, and the year after that, and the year after that, and the year after that. What, 7 or 8, Chloe?
8.
8 years. Questions for me? Comments? You want to introduce yourself, or do you? I'm sorry.
Chloe and Hannah.
Oh, you want to go first?
Yeah,
Okay.
They already have to let them go. Okay.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I did it out of order. See, I can't follow directions. You guys just want to introduce yourself?
Sure.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much again for being here.
I'm Taylor Stevens, and this is my 4th year of being a teacher for Gliding Stars. Before I was a teacher, I was a volunteer. And I love it. It's great, and it's really good to see new faces here. So thank you all for coming.
I'm Cody Towell. I've been a teacher for 3 years. This will be my 3rd year. Before that, I was a volunteer as well. And yeah, I'm glad to see a lot of new faces, and I think I'm ready for a new year.
I'm Kayla Tao. This is my 3rd year teaching. Right? Yeah. I was a volunteer before that for a couple years. Yes, I am his sister, but we won't be teaching together. So I'll be with Courtney in the blue group, and I'm really excited to start a new year.
And the amazing thing about them is they get to bring their dad, and he is a volunteer too. It's really cool. I love it.
They
I love
Bring
it.
them along.
They may not think that, but it is cool.
Hi, I'm Courtney Van Horn. I'm in charge of the blue group with her. This is my 4th year, I think. I was a volunteer for 6 years total. I don't remember, but you'll love this program. It's made such a huge difference in my life, and you'll love it. Absolutely love it.
My name is Anna Flopchak, and I've been a coach for 6 years, so they just let me know. I'm like, I don't know how long. A while. I volunteered before that, and I took a year off because I was moving away, and I just couldn't be away, so I drive up from Columbus every Sunday because I just can't separate myself from the program. It's just a really great place to be, and you'll really love it.
Thank you guys. Definitely, they are the
We're
best.
missing one, Lisa.
Lisa, I know. Lisa, who she works at the hospital, and she got called into work today, or otherwise she would have been here. So they are definitely the backbone. And I think it's interesting, with driving Anna from Columbus, a lot of our families drive a big distance to come here. Yesterday with some of the new families, I signed up. They're coming from the north, and we had 2 others that are coming from south of Lima. So I mean, they're a good hour on the road. So we're doing something new this year. Come on up. One of the things, when I mentioned about the Marathon Classic, we got a large grant from the Community Foundation. With that grant, we did a strategic planning. And it was a wonderful process, and we had probably 28 people, community people, university people, our new established board that we have, a 9-member board. And if you're on Facebook, you'll know who all those are because it's on our page. But the strategic planning was wonderful. We asked questions, what would happen? And these questions went out to over 120 some people. What would happen if Gliding Stars didn't exist tomorrow? And the answers were devastating. I mean, families, volunteers, the responses. It was like, what a gap in the community. But the other great thing is it pushed us to look at things in areas of improvement, which is part of the reason of doing strategic planning, and building on those and making outcomes out of those. And Hannah Hartzell and Chloe Wires was representing as University of Findlay students and as on ice volunteers. And something big came from that, and I want you guys to share.
So hi guys, I'm Chloe Wires. I was the girl in the video, just I now have short hair and long hair like that. But yes, I've been in the program for 8 years, and I'll let Hannah introduce herself real quick.
I'm Hannah Hartzell, and I've been in the program for 5 years. And I speak with a little girl, Grace, who will give you a hug.
So yeah, as Cindy said, we were both at the strategic planning, and we actually have 2 new contributions to Gliding Stars that we can announce to you. First of all, one new thing that we're doing this year is Hannah and I are creating a volunteer committee, and one volunteer from each group will be selected along with Hannah and I to kind of oversee the whole committee. And we are going to be in charge of kind of being that bridge for pretty much everybody. So all the volunteers, all the stars, sometimes people, may not have the courage to speak up if they have a concern or a comment. So that's kind of what our goal is going to be. We understand that the teachers are very busy, and Kim and Cindy are both very busy, so it might be a little easier to contact us if you have any issues. Those that will be selected, we are going to plan a couple meetings every so many weeks and kind of write down our minutes and kind of put everything out on the table and address everything that we have to address. And then Hannah and I will take that up to either the board or even just Cindy and Kim and kind of, again, be that bridge so that everybody has a chance to get their word out and get their say. So that's going to be that committee. And there will be more information on that as the season goes on. Those other 3 individuals have not been selected yet. It's still a work in progress. Hannah and I will get our contact information out to all of you so you can contact us as well as those 3 other individuals. But then another big thing that we have to announce to Gliding Stars is Hannah and I are also instigating a new club at the University of Findlay. We are starting a service learning club that's going to focus towards Gliding Stars. The club is in process of being started, so again, that'll be more information will come to you guys as that arrives. But it's going to focus on fundraising and obviously service learning, and we're going to tie in Gliding Stars as much as possible, but we're also going to reach out to other community organizations, and Hannah and I will also be taking on the role of traveling to different schools in town and kind of getting our word out and kind of explaining the program, but also the importance of just volunteering in general. So it's going to be a really great and exciting experience for us and everything, so we're excited.
And I'm excited, and it's just wonderful to sit in, a room and come up with a gap and have people that have been volunteering over the years. We're ahead of our strategic planning on that process, so it's phenomenal. And I think we do not realize how important organizations such as the University of Findlay in this community, and what a part that's been with us from the very beginning. So I think this is like bringing it full circle.
And one other thing about the club, I forgot to mention, even though it's going to be a university club, we're opening it to the community. So it's not just students, we're inviting parents, volunteers, whomever you can think of that would want to be a part of this club. Meetings will be after school hours, so we're hoping that anyone can attend. So yeah, so that's another goal.
Well, again, thank you. Well, thank you all. That pretty much concludes. I was hoping to do this in 45 minutes, and we did it in 40, so that's good. I know your time is important, and enjoy the rest of your evening. And as Kim said, if you want to be out there, if you want to get with Kim to give your preferences, or if you have a comment that you want Kim to know about, please do that. And thank you.